pay was peanuts. Peanuts. But what was interesting was through that, like we funded a non-profit organization called Change Your World, and through that we actually help like a lot of human traffic victims. So Change Your World is an organization that fights against human trafficking. I always say the wrong thing. I said, oh, Change Your World, human trafficking. So, oh, no, it's the other way around. We fight against human trafficking. It's been a long time, so, yes. So, and my band, what we did was we produced a lot of albums, tour around, and what we do is like we used our royalty to fund like programs and also help out with the human traffic victims. So never seen a dime of my royalty. Yeah, but I mean, it's great, and we did a lot of mission trips and to Thailand, Cambodia, and all that stuff. And truly, when we were at Cambodia, then I realized like, hey, the prophecy actually came true, because we actually sang to the people on the street, and we seen a lot of like really heartbreaking things where we were helping out with this. They call it Sunday school, run by this guy from Austin, Texas. It's like he's back in the U.S. now, and every day he will bring in like a lot of kids from the streets to go to this place he calls Sunday school, right? And then what was really sad and brought tears to my eyes was he said these kids, the parents use them as money. And what I meant by that is like the only care that the kids get was at this place called Sunday school, which is like 7 days a week, right? And then he said the moment the kids go back to their parents, they're gonna be human trafficked for sex, as young as 3 years old. And you see these kids and you can't do anything because legal guardian is the parents and the parents just doing it. And you can see a lot of guys just like, hey, they're not working, they're just like sitting in coffee shops and then drinking beers like from morning till night, and then they have their kids being trafficked for sex. And that was really rough, like seeing that. And then it was really rough, extra rough, because I was gonna propose to my wife, my girlfriend back then, on that trip. So I was like, man, this doesn't feel right. But you know, after the whole thing, I proposed it. And then the whole thing, which is super embarrassing because I forgot every single thing.
Was that legal trafficking or not?
I don't think it's legal.
Or they turn away, they look away.
Yeah, look away. There's nothing you can do about it because it's a normal tourist thing to do, and the parents just like hey, we need the money, and then this is what we do. And it's not just like in Cambodia. In India, there was a Nepali girl that was trafficked. So because of people are poor, they were like trafficked by her aunt, basically. The aunt was like telling the parents like, hey, I got a job for my niece, you know, just pass it to me, here's the money, probably $100 or something. And then she's like, oh, just follow me to India, bring her to India. The next thing you know, she landed in Malaysia. So that's how we know that story.
They never come back.
Never came back. Yeah, so this girl told us that story, so trafficked to Malaysia. So our partner rescued her. So our partner is called Women's Force, direct translation. And they do a lot of like rescuing, so that's how we know about her. So now she's back with her family because of that. And Malaysia is a hub for human trafficking as well, which is big. I mean, US is big as well. But that story, I remember. So after church on Saturday night, we have service on Saturday and Sunday. So we got called from this our partner, and then this lady, I forgot what's her name. Oh gosh, she was like, "Hey Daniel, are you guys free tomorrow? I'm not available because I have an appointment." And then she was like, "Could you go and rescue this human traffic victim?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me!" Because usually we do the what you might call it, the awareness side, right? Go to colleges, we play some music and tell them, and then we meet the victims, but we never do the rescuing. So we were like, "What time is it?" She was like, "Around 10 a.m. Yes.
Was this a Christian organization that you were with, or was it just like a?
I don't think they're Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the lady is Christian. But
Yeah,
the
just wondering.
yeah.
They recognize evil where it stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I told my lead singer at that point in time. So we as a band live in a house. Do not like that. Because everybody's just dirty. Like, come on, take out your trash. No. Okay, great guys, just bad hygiene. Don't tell my friends I said that. Well, they know.
I'll find them.
Yeah, well, I have let them know more than once. Clean up your mess, man. Anyways, so we told them, yeah, we can do it, because we said, like, after our first service on Sunday morning, during the message, we'll go and we'll come back and we'll play for the second service. So come Sunday, let me just tell the story first. So come Sundays after worship, me and my lead singer was like, "Hey, let's go," but we don't have a car. So we're like, "Okay, let's borrow the church car." So this church car, which is like a 30-year-old car that's breaking down because somebody given it to church, and then nobody really take care of the church. I mean the car, right? So gas is almost empty, tires almost flat, something's broken. I don't know if it even have like a window behind. Oh gosh. So we drove to this location. So how we got the contact was, this girl was from Laos, which is north of Malaysia, and she paid an agent to get her a job in Malaysia as a house helper. And then when she landed, the guy who I'm supposed to be their concierge or something, like, "Hey, give me your passport." So that just like rang a bell in her head, and she was like, "Oh crap, I've been human trafficked." So she switched off her phone and she hid her phone, and she just complied to whatever they said. So by this time, she was already in Malaysia being human trafficked for a month, right? But then she was secretly contacting with her agent back home in Laos, and then that agent contacted us. So that's how the whole long contacting chart goes. So every time we said, "Oh, we are here," it goes to another person, that goes to the agent, from the agent goes to her. So it's like a whole network, right? So when we were there, it was like, oh, so poor girl, she was so smart, but what she did was she just complied and do whatever they asked her to do. And because of that, it gained trust from the human traffickers, to the point that she said, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy some lunch." Is that okay? And they allowed her to go out. And on this day, we were waiting there for her. Man, it was like so nerve-wracking, because we were waiting there for almost an hour, and we're like, we have to go back to play for the second service, and she's not here yet. And but we know it's like it's not easy, right? So by the time we were waiting, it's like, oh man, is she gonna come here? And we can see some guys near that area, which is like kind of scary. And then she went to the window and she went to my lead singer and she was like, "Are you Daniel?" My lead singer was like, "Yes, I'm Daniel," but actually he's Daniel. So she sat at the back. The funny thing was, we drove like 50 feet and there was a red light, and that was the longest red light of our whole life. Like, oh my gosh. But the moment she sat in the car and we drove off, she was just crying. She was like, she was just holding on to something. And she said, she asked us, like, are you guys Christian? And we're like, yeah, we're Christian. She was like, I'm a Christian too. And I really feel like God has sent you guys to like help me. And we drove her away, and then we have to do some route that we never taken before, which you have to zigzag so that nobody follow us or whatever. And by the time we dropped her off, and that was the last time we saw her. And yeah, pretty nerve-wracking, but I think such a cool experience to get to do that once in my life. Anyways, so I felt that was that prophecy, again, circling back to singing to people on the street, has come full circle. And the other thing too, I think I always believe that I have a lot of faith, even though sometimes it's hard, because when I went to audio school, I have no money. Like I got a partial scholarship. I told my dad, hey, you're not gonna pay for my audio school, I'm gonna pay it myself. And I was eating pretty much nothing, like for 3 years, which is, every time I think about it, just make me want to cry. But look at me now, living the good life, right? You know, when you're younger, you can suffer a little bit. And I always feel like God has a plan for me, and how much I try to run away from working at church, God always like pulled me back. And before I came to the US, I was, somebody headhunted me and then said, hey, do you want to join my company as a partner instead of just a person who do work? So it's a production company. And because I work at church, when you work at church, you do video, you do audio, you play in the band, so you have no sleep. I practically go to work at 9 a.m. in the morning and go back at 5 o'clock in the morning. Usually I just like even sleep at church, and then it's like, oh, let's go back to work. But through that experience, it gave me so much skills. And one of the biggest skills that I got was visual effects. So I was visual effects supervisor for a lot of projects in Malaysia. And I really believe that God has given me that skill, and to the point that I was able to take a whole year off to plan for my wedding. So that's how much money I was making. It was amazing.
Sorry, this means clock it.
Clock it. I was like, something new. Yeah, so, and it's not just that, right? It's like working hard is one thing, but the other thing that I did was I also told God that I'm gonna tithe 50% of what I earned during that time. And that was really hard for me. Like 50% of my income was like a lot of money at that time. And then, but before even I got those jobs, I already tithed 50% at that time. And it was tough, but I have to tell you, like when I tithe 50%, it feels like has nothing changed. Like I always have more jobs, more clients. I was able to like buy dumb stuff, you know. Like, it's Amazon, what's that? Just put in my cart. Don't spend carelessly.
Oh boy, a flashlight without a battery that can use a solar power? Perfect.
And so what I'm trying to say is like, God has provided every time I ask, because I feel like I'm a good steward. And the number one thing that I always tell myself, like, have faith, and nothing I have on this earth belongs to me. So my talent, my money, everything, it's God's. And by having that mindset, I'm able to like give more, and indirectly it's like always being blessed. And this alludes to me coming to the U.S. So before I come to the U.S., my pastor back home was like, "Oh man, you can't go to the U.S. We need you here. I want to hire you full time," which he did hire me full time for a couple of years, and then I left and I come back. Come to another prophecy. So this other prophecy, which I think is the coolest, is by Pastor Julie, and we actually recorded her prophecy for us. And my pastor was like, "Hey, if she say you can't go to the U.S., don't go to the U.S. You have to stay here." He was joking. So Pastor Julie is one of the pastors, because back home I'm part of this church called Every Nation Church, and they are global. And so Pastor Julie is from. So they were having this leadership conference, and this pastor, Pastor Julie, loved to prophesy. So she was like, "Hey, Tim," which is my pastor, he was like, "Why don't you gather your staff? I'm gonna prophesy for them. Just call them one by one." So I was like, "Okay, cool. So my turn now, right?" So she prophesied, and then she was like, "I see that God is preparing you to go to a new place, and you have His blessings to go." I was like, "What?" My pastor was like next to me. He was like, "Ah, man." It was so funny. I saw his face, and he was like, I was like, "Oh." He was like, "Ah, dang it." Yeah, it was funny. It was so funny. So because through that prophecy, it gives peace to my wife as well, because we came here because my wife went to University of Pennsylvania to pursue her master's, right? So that's how we ended up in the U.S. And she didn't stop there, right? So she also said,
What's your wife's job again?
she's a nurse practitioner in palliative care. Yes. But she graduated in master's in adult gerontology.
Oh,
Whatever that means, I do not know.
but you know that she did it.
The important thing is she did it. And I'm telling you, I sold off everything, she sold everything, we gave up everything back home just so that she can study here. We ran out of money after the six month here. We ran out of money, not because we were wasting money, it's because the exchange rate was horrible during that time, right? It's like $1 to like 5 Malaysian ringgit. Oh my gosh. And we were trying to get a loan here, but we couldn't get a loan because we don't have a guarantor. So that is like the technicality of it. So we were hard. It was tough, but then we prayed, and then true enough, coming over, my wife got a job, part-time job, and I got a job as a front desk worker at the hostel that we were staying. And then I worked so much that our rent was free. I was like, yep, just yes.
Wait, what?
I work as a front desk worker, and then the way they do it is like they will cut out your rent fees.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
so there's no payment, so whatever, so
Wow.
still kind of legal, taxes. Yeah, so that, and then, so back to the prophecy. So under prophecy, she said that, I also see that you guys are looking for a car, and He's gonna provide for you one. I was like, what? I'm trying to sell my car here, right, before I go to the US. And that was just weird for me. So fast forward, came to Reading, stayed in Wyomissing, and then a couple of my wife's friends from university came over. So they were like, "Oh, my dad is having a party at his barn, and then why don't we pick you up so that we can go there?" So they picked us up in this car and drove us there. And on the way back, they were like, "Just felt that we want to give you this car." Oh, before that, oh man, I ruined the story.
Wow.
So a month before that, my wife was like, "Hey, do you still have the recording of like the prophecy from Pastor Julie?" I was like, "Yeah, still have it." So we listened to it, and then that was during the time that it was like, "Oh man, we need a car," and then we heard that portion of the prophecy. I was like, "Wow, I think it's pretty timely." So we started praying for a car. So a month after that, barn party, sent us home, and it's like, "Oh, do you guys want this car?" We're like, "Yeah," and these guys, they're not Christians at all, right? They were like, "Oh, you guys can have this car. We're moving to Colorado," and that's how we got that car, and which is pretty amazing, and like all the prophecies that has given to us has come to pass. And we are at this point in our life that we're just looking forward to like what God has in store for us next. It's I would say that life doesn't get easier for us. As you grow older, you have less time. But then like you always see like God's blessing every single day. Like for us especially, I feel that we have never been short of our finances. Not just, we're not rich, but I think we are decent enough that we're able to save 50% of our income and just spend that 50%. But having kids, now it's like everything comes sideways.
Do you have one or two?
2 kids.
Wow.
And we know both of them.
Yeah.
Great.
So what I'm trying to say here is like through this mind, I'm going to close here because I talk a lot. Is that through my life, I've learned to trust God, and I have learned to be faithful, even though I have some things that I want to do in my life. I always let God guide me. And I think trusting my finances to God was the biggest thing for me. And through that, I always see His blessings in my life, that we are able to bless other people. I'm not saying that, oh man, we are so rich right now, we're able to do a lot of stuff. It's like, hey, we still struggles from one time to time. But every time we pray for something, God always provides just enough for us to move forward and to bless other people. So that's my life. I hope you guys are inspired, encouraged.
What's your native language?
So, all right, Q&A time. Yes, I love that. Native language in Malaysia is the Malay language, which is a combination of different languages. So Malaysia used to be like, the Suez Canal here, Malacca, so it's the main trading port of the whole world back in the 1500s or something. So people from Portugal, France, and like Europe, China, India all come to this place called Malacca. And so this place is the main port of the South China Sea. And so the Malay language is basically a combination of a lot of languages. It's actually called the lingua de franca, which is the language of many. And that's in Portuguese.
And that's what you spoke, you know that language.
I know that language. So it's typical for Malaysians to know how to speak 5 languages and use all 5 languages in a single sentence. Which is,
Do you?
I know how to speak Malay, English, half-baked Chinese, Cantonese Mandarin, a little bit, and then my mom's native language, a little bit.
Very cool.
So just a little. I went to a Mandarin kindergarten, just weird, but I hated it. Can't write it.
You mentioned that you got headhunted. Can you share a little bit about your ancestry?
Oh, yes. Funny thing. So if you guys Google Borneo headhunters, so Borneo headhunters is like this tribe back home. So they have Iban, Bidayo, Karazan, a bunch more. So what they do is like they headhunt for a living, like headhunt.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is back in the day.
like death?
Death. So like you'll see like it's like they'll headhunt like another tribe, and that's from my mom's side, right? They'll headhunt people from another tribe, and then they will keep the head as a trophy. So that's why they call the headhunters. So I think when I was younger, you kind of see like some people's houses. They have like, it's like, what is this small miniature skull? It's like, it's not a skull, it's like a head, but then it's like it shrink after a while, which is weird. So you guys can Google Borneo headhunters and you can see it. And they just put
They
the
dip
skull.
it in oil and then like have the oil sort of shrink it.
Yeah, no, I
We
don't know.
don't know.
But then I don't know what's the guy's name, but he was one. Borneo was one of the first places in Southeast Asia that was evangelized, and I got the opportunity to meet the guy who first evangelized back in the early 1900s. Back when that was 2001. He was still alive. We went for a mission trip deep in the jungle, and he was like, "This is random white dude." He's just chilling. He was like, "Yeah." He was one of the first missionaries in Malaysia, which is my state Sabah, which is super cool.
One other story you've shared in the past, there's a lot of idolatry in the other countries.
Yes. So even though
Yeah.
it's a Muslim country, they do practice a lot of paganism there as well. So you do see like Muslim, which is Arab culture, mixed with Indonesian paganism culture, which is, they come up with like a lot of weird stuff. But one of the biggest thing is also Buddhist. Buddhist is like the second largest religion back in Malaysia. And since we can evangelize the Buddhists, because they're not Muslim, so we've seen a lot of like idol worship in Malaysia. So one of the things that I saw growing up was, this was after church, Sunday school ended earlier. I was younger, so I saw my friend's dad, which is like he's the what do you call that? The guy in church that casts out demons. He's the guy, right?
Yeah, deliverance.
Deliverance ministry,
There
right?
you go.
So I saw him with a bunch of guys like, "Oh man, we have to go back of the church house," and they took a huge like oil barrel and they started fire. I was like, "What did you do? Start a fire?" So Malaysia is hot, like super hot, right? So we don't start a fire in a barrel unless we're doing a barbecue. And then
What's in a barrel?
what happened was then he took out this cloth, this yellow cloth with like red writing on it, right? And then I was like, "Oh, what's happening?" And so they were like, "Oh, hey kid, move aside." So I was standing on the side eating biscuits and like juice because our church somehow served that to kids during that time after service, right? So anyways, what am I talking about? They were praying, and then they were burning those yellow cloth with like writing, and then they were burning like some idols as well. And then the moment the idol touched the fire, I cannot believe my ears, because I heard screaming from the barrel, which is like, I still remember till this day. It was like so scary. So it is common for Buddhists to have idols at their home. So they have like idol worshiping, not just ancestry worship, but they have like all these idols. If you go to Malaysia, you will see like some houses, they build an idol, like a pole and then a small little hut, and then inside is an idol, and then they'll feed that idol with like food and all that stuff. And then once they become once they're saved and all that stuff, they're like, oh, what do I do with this thing, right? So I was like, oh, church, take this from me. And that's why it's a pretty normal thing, for them to oh, let's get this thing, pray, burn it. And then at the same time, if once a person becomes a Christian, they will ask for the church deliverance ministry to come in and pray for their house. Because in their house, there's a lot of things that it's oh, this thing, hey, oh, where do you get this? Oh, from a temple somewhere else. You have to get rid of it and all that stuff.
A lot of spiritual baggage.
A lot. And then at the same time, my church back home, we have this thing called Victory Weekend. And this is for people who are just received Christ, wanting to get baptized. So Victory Weekend is the place that you'll see a lot of manifestation. So it usually happens on a Saturday night. So Friday night we'll have briefing at church, and then Saturday morning we'll drive up to this place called Genting Highlands, right? And this place is colder because up in the mountain. So my church will book an apartment thing. So the whole apartment building will book it. And it's meant for short stays and all that stuff. So throughout the whole day, we will have deliverance ministry in every room. And each room you'll have 2 guys with one guy who's being ministered. And through that, my worship pastor always gets it. He always gets the person who's manifests a lot. So one of the guys, guitarist, short guy, skinny guy, like you, super skinny and super small, and then so what happened was, this is pretty interesting because he said oh, growing up I have this imaginary friend that always follows me and I can see him. And then so during Victory Weekend, this is where you tell all your past transgressions, all this stuff, basically just blurting it out kind of thing. And then just try praying over it, kind of in a nutshell. So this guy, his name is, oh man, I can't remember his name anymore. Anyways, Roy, that's his name. Yeah, so he was growing up I have this imaginary friend that always follows me. But then since I became a Christian, I don't see that thing anymore because somehow got blocked away. But when he mentioned that, suddenly his eyes was oh my gosh, he's here. And then just in that moment, it's just like those horror exorcist movie, right? And he started manifesting. So it took like 5 African guys. So our church have a lot of African students, so that's why 4 African guys. I was holding him down and pray over him, and then after that he was oh, I don't remember anything. And it just cleared. It's a pretty interesting time. So I don't look forward to go Victory Weekend with my worship pastor. If I'm paired up with him, I'm oh man, it's not going to be a good time. That's Malaysia. Church back home. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
I just wanted to say thank you to Daniel because with all of his background, he has been very helpful with everything sound related here. I do okay at mixing, but he is the master behind the scenes, making everything sound great, and not just here, but Hope of the Nations. And GT, he's working at Epic Church down in Philadelphia, on their sound team. Believe we got some snack, and let's just close out with prayer. Father, I just thank you for this evening, for the time we could spend worshiping you and with each other here, Lord. Thank you for Daniel, for his willingness to share, and we ask blessing on him in the work that he's doing in the future, and we thank you for his help that he's offered here. And we just pray for each person here tonight and each person that wasn't able to make it. Lord, that you would just minister in their hearts this week, that you would draw us close to you, that you would give us a full awareness of you in every moment of every day, that our hearts are, and our souls, our spirits are yearning for you and for contact with you. We just ask you to move in us and to continue to change us and use us for whatever purpose that you have for us, Lord. And bless us this week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
It's all right, man. You guys like clock too,
Bro, I'm not